over to 2,000 new ransomware incidents are detected. So what it did was that from this question, it actually read this data. And from this data, it actually gave you the question answer. And you see that how accurate it is, right? So if you are dealing with a massive incident where there are like lot of nodes, and the leadership guys, you are expecting that they will be kind of asking you question at any moment of time, you can implement this one, and this will kind of quickly give you the way to kind of detect, kind of answer the question automatically for you. Okay, so that's one thing. And the last thing which I also wanted to kind of share with you guys is that okay, now there are different kind of algorithms actually which require like a deep level study. So one of the thing is like let's say when you deal with the macro, let's say you are using Outlook tool for an example. Let's say you are using Outlook tools for an example, and thing is that let's say in that Outlook tool you have seen that okay, the Outlook is able to automatically detect if the mail is a kind of a spam or mail is kind of a ham. Okay, if it is if it is spam email or not. So what you can do is that, let me just give you 1 second, guys. Actually, my meeting is about to start in a few minutes. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so how the Outlook actually does that? How the Outlook is able to know that okay, the email that is coming in is a spam email or is a normal email, which is also called as ham. So there are different kind of algorithms that it uses internally. One of the algorithm is knife-based classifier. Okay, and thing is that there is the code for that over here that kind of you can kind of utilize. And thing is that these are like very basic algorithms actually. What it does is that it actually checks the pattern. This knife-based algorithm actually checks the pattern. Like if you give it a huge database of, let's say, email data, where you have actually classified that as like which one is spam and which one is ham, for an example, you can train a model. So with this data, it is also called as supervised learning. And the next time an email comes up, what it will do is that based on the data that it was trained on, it will be able to kind of detect with a really high accuracy if that email is a spam or if that email is a ham. Okay. So what you can also do is that rather than using the knife-based algorithm, which is quite old and quite basic because it is easy to understand, that's the reason why I picked up. What you can also do is in the model itself, you can kind of achieve those kind of functionality by using this text classification. Okay, so using a text classification, what you can do is that you can again kind of utilize this kind of models to kind of, let's say, do certain kind of analysis for you. So one of the incident that I like to share is that there's an incident where I need to kind of investigate more than 1,000 email employee email data, like what all they have discussed in last 3 months. That was one of the requests of the client. And thing is that what happened was that that data was actually around more than, I'll say, 8,000 GB of data. More than 8,000 GB of data was there, which I had to kind of analyze. My team had to kind of analyze. So what we actually did over there is that the objective over there was that there was some kind of harassment that like some kind of riot that few of the employees were planning. Okay. So thing is that what the objective of the client they gave us is that figure out who all employees are talking bad stuff about the company on email or on chats. So we got the email, we got the chats, the Slack chats and all. So what we did is that rather than kind of doing that manually, which would have taken us years and years just to analyze that, what we did is that we used this model, which is called as text classification model. And what you can do is that using this text classification model, let's say I give it an email, let's say the line of that email is, I really love you, for an example. And if you run this, it will tell you like if it is a kind of a positive or a negative, or if it is a kind of a neutral statement. Okay. So once this is loaded up, this model is loaded up. So it will tell you what's the classification of that. So let me do that. and it's telling me that it's neutral and more in a positive sense. So it is not negative. So I won't kind of read that email. So what I will do is that, let's say there's an attacker, which this is actually a real incident that I'm telling you guys, where I use a test classification. So to automate the work. So let's say there was a, I am, there was a user, who was trying to delete database of the company. I'm going to delete the database, and so somewhere around this, there's a decision between two employees that they are about to kind of delete the database of the company, it will major impact. Okay. And then we have to kind of investigate, okay, which employees might be related to the attack that happened on the company. So what we did again is that we just fed the email data and the data to that. And it actually, if you see, it actually tells me that it's a negative statement automatically. It's a very high score. Okay. And yeah, go on.
So can we feed all the data all at a time, or do we need to do it manually, like one by one?
No. Yeah, so that's the thing. You can feed it automatically. So thing is that what I'm doing is, rather than kind of running this code that you're seeing over here on my system right now, because downloading this model actually takes time. It actually is in GBs, like I think at least 3 to 4 GB. It will take a lot of time. So thing is that rather than doing that, what I'm doing is that you can run this code. And kind of feed, and you can make the code such that it reads the email one by one automatically. Okay. But what this thing is doing is that it is actually running this code internally. This code is actually running internally. The same code is running internally. And this Hugging Face is allowing you to test how the output will look like. Okay. So that's the thing over here. Thing over here is that here, that code is actually working. The test classification code is actually working internally. And you can kind of what you say, make the changes to the code so that it reads the email automatically, and it will actually prepare a CSV file, let's say, for you, where you, let's say, it will tell you which are the emails which are negative, which are like neutral or positive. Okay. And that's where, so everything is like, this is just for a demo purpose, which is I'm doing in the manual approach. But thing is that you can approach that by making the changes to the code automatically. So what you do is that, let's say you want to use this code, what you need to do is that you just need to click on use in transformer. So if you use in transformer, you will get the code. So this is the code that you need to kind of use. And once you do that, the model is ready. And then what you do is that you just go over here and you feed the model with the data that you want to investigate. So you just
So
make
is it free of cost, or do we need to pay for this, for getting
okay.
these codes?
Hugging Face is actually totally free of cost. You don't need to pay anything. And one of the good part, guys, you guys might be already knowing about ChatGPT and all, which is really making a really good changes in the security community. You can analyze the timeline. You can analyze a lot of like things automatically using ChatGPT. But that ChatGPT is like paid version, and also like there's the company won't allow you to kind of use that ChatGPT. So what you can do is that you can go to the Hugging Face, and there are actually models. One of the thing is, like I'll say, is Vicuna model. Okay, Vicuna model over here, the Vicuna 13B censored Hugging Face. If you use that, actually it is much, it is almost 80% accurate as ChatGPT. Okay, so it will able to match the quality of the data that you are getting as per the ChatGPT, and you can kind of, even without using the ChatGPT, the thing is that this all thing you can run locally on your system. No data will go out from your company, and you can execute that, and you can kind of interact with that too. So let me see if it works this time. So let me see. I don't think it will work, but you can also ask one person like, what is curl command? Okay, let's say for an example. Okay. So yeah. So thing is that this model will not run right now easily, because thing is that it is very, very heavy. Okay. But thing is that using this model, if you install that locally, you don't even need ChatGPT kind of tool or GPT-4 kind of tool. So there are a lot of models like this over here. All you need to know is that you need to know so if you go to the Open LLM leaderboard over here, let's see. If you give me 1 second. Okay. So this is the one, the Falcon 40 billion instruct. Okay, so this is the model which is like almost 95% as compared to like accurate as the chat